I can sometimes, but every time I see Republican politicians come on and try to explain that Trump is really concentrating on the things that'll help America. He's concentrating on doing the. He's not. It's just how the fuck do you even live with yourself lying like that? Because one thing to be Trumpy is another thing to just get up and tell people that he's actually working on anything for any of us. He so clearly is not. And it's gonna fall over. Get this sucker straight here, Sky. I'm on YouTube. We try to simulcast on the tube if we can. That looks a little better, right? Ooh, what's up? Check me out over there if you got a mind to. Mike, you're reaching milestones, man. What's going on, man? Sherry R. Yeah, anybody wants to jump on today and tell me why Trump is not the national pig? I'll give you 30 seconds today if anybody wants to jump on. It's always a minefield, isn't it? When you do what I do, which is make fun of religion, and especially Christian nationalism in America, and talk shit about the biggest turd that's ever been in politics anywhere ever. Then I get trolls coming on, right? And I get guys who like, they want to be on, I might be a guest on your show, and then they like say the N word over and over real fast and try to get me banned or some shit like that. Just Kathy is with us, but what the hell, man? I'll try to give it a shot. If anybody wants to uh, jump on and say something, I'll give you 30 seconds to at least be interesting. Because if not, I hate that air so much. I'm just gonna fucking cut you off. But I have decided that Trump is the national pig. Whoever's president next should officially make Trump the national pig of America. We have a national bird. We have there he is. He's a Yankees fan too. Big. I could blow on a lot of things. Bowling is like this. Blow. Is that how you like your BJs? You're a monkey. People who make this comment are so fucking stupid because it's about sucking, not blowing. Blowing is an expression. You guys know where that expression comes from? Blowing. Yeah, probably not. But yeah, thanks, Jake. Probably voted for Trump too, right? I haven't even blown the whistle. I think he knows who I am, Jake. Go eat a churro, Jake, bud. But thanks for being here. Yeah, well, you're part of the problem then. Didn't vote for anybody. Apathy. Thank you, apathy. That's got us where we are. This fucking shitbird. Because he's I'll get in office and I can make myself a zillionaire. Literally get out of jail, stay out of jail, and get over all my financial problems. Which he was essentially broke on paper. I think he was trying to lie about the value of his properties because he's broke. He needs to convince the banks that shit's worth more than it is. But now he's not broke, right? Everything he does, he makes a deal. Wee for him. Woo. Well, you're not. There should be a term limit on every senator, every congressman, every boy. That's absolutely right. There should be a total term limit. That's one of the things that I would promote. If yeah, right. Yeah, right. As an insult to pigs, right? But not actual pigs. I think actual pigs are pretty cool. They're pretty fucking smart too, and they give us their aorta, don't they? Their aorta with an AE at the end. It's not, the fact that we've gotten to the point where we can use pig aortas. Would that be ironic if I had to give him one? Little by little, he just change over to an actual pig, not get curly tail. His hair's kind of piggy, actually. If you probably actually if you shaved it and let it go, it'd probably come out like that. It's kind of wiry and thin. God Almighty, what a fucking disgusting human being, man. Every time I look at the guy, I'm like, of course we're not supposed to no body shaming, no don't talk about the way they look, right? But it's not communism. That's you scaring stupid people. Communism. I heard what bullet-headed fucking commentator on CNN this morning talking about. Well, the communists, the fucking people aren't communists. They're all making money. They're all rich off of the system. It makes them capitalists because they give a shit about the underclass, because they care about the social services that we all need, because they want to have a country where a rising tide floats all the boats. That makes them Marxist. The Democratic left, they're disgusting. They are. Why do you think I'm purple? I am purple. I didn't do this on purpose today, but I have a purple shirt on. Oh, you never understood that? Because, okay, Bohemian, I'll tell you. We say blow because in the early part of the last century or the late 1800s, we we would use the expression blow someone off in the way that today we would say get someone off. You're going to get off. They used to say you're going to blow off, right? And that kind of makes sense. You're like a little geyser, right? You're going to blow, right? You're going to have an O. You're going to blow. And so that just evolved into prostitutes um, selling a job that was a way of getting someone off. The expression used to be blowing someone off. It's essentially that simple. That is really, I don't know. My fucking my internet sucks. I don't know what's going on with this fucking internet in this office. I'm sorry if YouTube's buffering. Maybe that's an issue. Maybe that's why people won't hang on there. I don't know what. But yeah, right, once you hear that, it's like language changes, and that's what they used to say. There's like I gotta blow him off. That's my job tonight. With blowing people off means something else now, right? But that's the way language changes. But the BJ phrase, it's just too good, right? It comes off it rolls off the tongue, so to speak. But yeah, everybody like, what else can you blow on? Okay, buddy, you're real slick. I blow on this. I blow on this. I blow on my coffee when it's hot. Move a little air across it, get it a little cooler faster. I actually put a few ice cubes in I like black coffee. But I put a few ice cubes in it when it's real hot. Man, I got a coffee from McDonald's. It reminded me of the old lawsuit thing, right? Back in the day, right? It was an old girl dropped one on her cooch, burned the shit out of her inner thighs. Yeah. Thanks, Bohemian. That's true. Well, keep letting me know what's going on with the tube, because one day I'll get to the bottom of it. I don't support either side because they are both working together behind closed. Oh, deep state guy. Yeah. Don't you love the conspiracy theorists, man? I have one that thinks Charlie Kirk is still alive. Yeah, okay. That was some good special effects right there. Charlie Kirk's still alive. They're keeping him in a basement, ready to roll him out when the time is right for him. Thank you. Appreciate you. Koala! What are you doing? How you been? Has every Sunday BJ show, did you kiss your mother? Is that a sentence in English, Joni? I kissed your mother with this mouth. And then I took care of business the way she likes it. It's been forever. Yeah. Hey, Underwater Tropium. I've been pretty consistent with the lives. I put them a little earlier, but I hadn't made a bunch of videos, and I got one tuned up. I didn't have time this morning to get it going, but Christian nationalism, and this is what the video is about. I've been doing pretty good. My scans just came back clear, man. It took a week for the fucking CAT scan results to come back. They came back nice and clear. I was worried, once you've gone through that, it's like, man, that's some fucking stress waiting for that CAT scan to come back to see where it's going to pop up next. Woo! The blood comes right back right away, right? My blood work came back real good, same damn day. Artie Mike, what's up? Yeah, hit that follow button, people. I'm only like 19 people away from 101.9 on the thing. Yeah, thanks, Artie. Not that I feel good, but I don't feel bad from that, right? At least right now, right? I'm old, man. Something fucking hurts every damn day, right? And like I said, once you've gone through that, man, oh man, it's like any little pain or bump or bruise, or you're like, fuck. But I'm doing pretty good. My work's kind of a shit show. This is the same side that thought JFK Jr. was going to show up to Trump rally. RFK was on this morning. RFK Jr. Addled brain, roadkill eating freak, anti-vaxxer freak was on one of the interview shows this morning, just talking over the host. Just as soon as she tried to say anything, just talking. You're a liar. Show me. Shut the fuck up. This is the most, I won't use the R word. This is the most idiotic, stupid cabinet anyone has ever seen. It's an embarrassment to life. And you got, again, Republican senators coming on and just defending this bullshit. You know what? It's because they like it. It's good for them. The more PAC money that comes in and supports theirs, the longer they can work and just do nothing and take advantage of People, I don't mean work. I mean the longer they can keep their fucking jobs. We need real reform because dude's not wrong, man. The Democrats are disgusting. They're fucking disgusting. They're the end of humor. I remember it's so flip. I remember when it was Republicans who had no sense of humor, and now it's like no, it's these woke ass super progressive freaks that fucking can't just take a fucking joke. Stop telling people how to talk. Stop being so fucking offended. Like the socialism is that's the least of their worries in my mind. People are the thing is that the young people are like, okay, we gave this turd a shot. We gave the national pig a shot, and he fucked it up. Beyond belief, he's fucked the economy up. He can't get himself out of a war where he empowered the regime in Iran. He didn't fucking hurt them at all. All he did was hurt some people and blow some people up over there, and they don't care. They don't care. They don't care if they can. All they can do is shoot a missile once in a while at one of our bases. They don't care. They can shut down the strait anytime they want. He's given them that power. He is thank you. Donald Trump is the biggest joke of all time, except for the fact that 34% of the people keep stomping their feet that he's great and he's doing a great job. He's never done anything wrong. That's just moronic. How do you not fucking, remember Harry Truman? The buck stops here. The buck doesn't stop anywhere with Trump. He won't even. It just rolls off his back like water off a oily duck's back. Thank you. I get as much hate for this hat as I do love. I'll tell you what, Cade. You know what? It fits good. It's comfortable. I'm bald as hell, but it doesn't look bad. If you're bald, it's hard to find good hats. If you can't wear a baseball hat if you're bald. You ever see guys that would love these rednecks who love to wear baseball hats and they got a bunch of hair coming out of the sides, right? It looks like they have hair. They do that because that makes you can pretend you're not bald, right? You go around with a baseball hat and a bunch of hair shoving out on the side of it. Looks like you got a full head of hair. It's an illusion, right? If you take off the hat, you look like Bozo. But they don't take off the hat till it's bedtime. And if they shave their head completely, the hat would make them look like a cancer patient, make them look like the Jimmy Fund kid, right? And I say that as a cancer patient, but I was bald long before chemo. And if you wear a baseball hat, I'll prove it. A couple of different ones here. It's really hard to find a baseball hat. Don't make it. All right. Train hat, old guy with a train hat. Baseball hat, cancer patient. Doesn't look good. Looks better with the fringe. These dudes that don't want to admit that they're bald. Like, look at me. Look. It's just bad. It's bad. You got to find exactly the right one. Nice. I love that. Dad had a hat like this. Yeah, you know what? And you go to train shows, and there's always like a dude who's like 20 years older than me, and he's got the overalls on, and he's got the red bandana right around his neck. Of course it is, Bohemian. Of course it is. All my redneck relatives from upstate New York, man. Some of the poorest counties in the country. My uncles and cousins live up in there, and man, it's just a syndrome in the country. If dudes just like, maybe they don't look good bald. Some of us look really good bald because we have good shaped heads. But if you're like a lumpy headed dude, or you're just like, maybe you're not that handsome with a bald head, still own it. Just embrace it. The whole fucking comb over, toupee, stupid baseball hat all day with fringe on the side. Come on, man. Just fucking be it. Just be it, dude. It'll be okay. You're bald. My daughter tried to date an older dude who was bald, and he was just in denial so bad, and he always had like some shitty fucking, I forget what her issue was. She's like, why do you do that? And he just like had he's like, I just hate being bald so much. Just get over it, man. I sympathize. I don't empathize because I look good bald, but I was stressed about it because I went bald when I was like 21, 22, 23. It's like, oh crap. And that's stressful for on a kid. You're like, but then when I realized it didn't, like, I just, I kept on scoring. What can I say? I was like, oh, okay. Guess it doesn't really make a difference. All right, who's guesting today? Patrick. Uh-oh. What? You get 30 seconds to say something relevant, bro.
Yo, you support Trump? Daddy Trump?
Do I support him?
Yeah, Daddy Trump.
Daddy Trump?
Yeah, you support him?
What does that mean? Do I support Daddy Trump? What's Daddy Trump mean?
Did you vote for him in like 2016, 2020, 2024, 2028?
No, I wouldn't vote for him if he was the only candidate on the planet. Why?
So you support like young girls getting like raped in the freaking streets of Texas?
Idiot. Thanks. Nice job. This is a guy who like thinks that the immigrant scare, right? He's like, oh, so you support what? Because everybody who comes over the border is a criminal, right, buddy? Smart guy. The thing about that is that scaring people with immigrants is again, it's just taking advantage of stupid people in the country. The people who believe that shit have never met an immigrant. I work with immigrants every day, and I've never met one that I didn't like. I never met one that I thought was crappy. I never met a criminal. Not that they're not out there, and they should be, if they're found and they're in here undocumented and they're criminals, they should be dealt with like criminals. But that's not what's happening, is it? They're telling you, and all they do is bring up Natalie Jacobson, right? And that's the saddest thing ever. Please, I'm not. That's horrible. And anybody who comes here and perpetrates crimes should be dealt with to the full extent of the law. That's not what's going on. People are coming here to try to support their families, just like you. They're trying to do good. They're trying to have a job. They're trying to get through their day, and they're not bad people. And I would rather live on a block of undocumented immigrants than I would on a block of evangelical Christians from Texas. So thanks for joining, buddy. You right away. Did you see his friggin' icon? He's got like a flag in the background with Trump. Like I said, you want to come out and be a guest, you get 30 seconds. If you impress me with your intellect or you have an actual point to make, maybe we can talk. I've had some people on that, I generally don't, because that's the kind of shit that happens. What a monkey. Dude, you're the stupidest guy I've ever fucking talked to and let on alive here today. Lorna D, what's up, baby? Everything is the immigrants' fault. Taxes, bad weather, bad food. You know what? Bad food. Man, they got good food too. What's been a thing? Chicago, 5154. What, immigration? Yeah. Well, we're a country of immigrants, aren't we? Except we didn't really, immigrate, legally. We just came here and took shit after we relied on the kindness of the natives to keep us alive the first winter or two. Of course Trump's in the Epstein files. Of course he is. Why do you think that over 1 million documents just flouting the law? Doesn't matter to them. They're just not going to do it. Not going to show us. We don't know if we'll ever fucking get it to come out, because Trump knows that his ass is fucking ugly guilty in that. And he probably, that's pretty much where he found his old lady, right? Let's say she's one of the ones, right, that came over and all that kind of shit, You can get Trump to do anything if you give him attention or praise. Yes, they get mommy issues, daddy issues too. Yes, he doesn't, he all he wants is validation. He won't show us his college records because he's dumb. He won't admit that he's wrong because he has a syndrome about it. He wants everyone to like him so bad that he'll pretend everyone likes him when it's pretty much showable that he filter comments. No. I don't want to filter any comments. Why does TikTok do that? Show me the fucking comments, you turd. God, the talk is so fucking frustrating. I love that though. A lot of Hector. To me, anything good here is because of immigrants. Again, I work with them all day, every day. And I got one I need to get rid of, not because he's a bad guy, because he's a bad worker. The Federal Reserve uses immigration to lower inflation. Okay. Ron, thank you, Ron Weasley. I don't... the socialist commies will shut you down if elected. Fact. Yeah. You really know the facts. See, the thing is that Trump's already stomped on freedom of speech and freedom of the press. He's installed echo chamber, blogosphere allies like Breitbart, people that will reinforce his bullshit lies, and he's getting rid of legacy media like AP, who's for hundreds of years been interested only in reporting. Oops. No, this is an engineer hat. Conductor hat is different, but I'm just a guy with a channel that you know, we identified it with trains because it's the Atheist Underground. So the old podcast was, you know, reminded me of the London Underground or the Underground Railway. There's a couple of like parallels there, and I model trains, you know, but you know, no, I'm not an actual train guy. It's just a bit, buddy. It's a bit. Thanks for the follows, you guys. Thanks for the follows. Dirty Jabroni. Dirty Jabroni. Got 30 seconds, Dirty Jabroni. You there? You got 30.
Yeah, there.
You got 30 seconds. What do you got?
Yeah, what's your desired outcome?
My desired outcome is for the middle to come back, for the extremes on both ends to stop fighting each other with scare tactics that amount to bullshit and playing to the worst nature, the worst elements of human nature. We need compromise in the middle. When I grew up, Republicans and Democrats were separated by how do we spend our taxes, right? Democrats wanted to spend a little more and make government a little bigger. Republicans wanted to fucking protect capitalism a little bit more and spend less taxes. That was it. You didn't have to be pro-life to be a Republican. You didn't have to be a crazy evangelical. I want the middle to come back to political discourse so that we can forward the agenda for the greatest good for the most people.
Now, if you can't get your desired outcome because the Constitution actually works against you in your way, it gets in your way of trying to get that outcome, would you be willing to get rid of the Constitution to get that outcome?
What are we
and
talking?
Then reinstate a new Constitution?
What are we talking about? The Constitution worked perfectly fine until 1984 when Reagan started this descent into Christian nationalism. What do you think that doesn't work about the Constitution?
Well, if you can't remove people who invaded your country, I think then that Constitution that's protecting the invader, you need to throw that away.
Well, how does the Constitution? What invader and how does the Constitution protect that invader?
Didn't you guys say that they deserve due process? Invaders deserve due process.
Who's an invader?
How do they deserve anything other than slavery?
What's an invader? Who are we talking about?
The people who came across the border purposefully, the ones who fled their own countries as cowards, right? Those people.
Why would
you want to adopt cowards?
Do you know somebody who did that? That's a coward.
Every single man that came across those borders
looking for a way to make more money.
Cowards, of course, they're cowards.
Mm-hmm.
How can a man abandon his country and his countrymen? Only a coward could possibly do that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why we're Americans. That's what
okay.
makes us different.
So you characterize people who are looking for a better life. I'm not disagreeing with you. Undocumented immigrants should be documented. They should follow the law. But people who have been here for 30 years doing your laundry, mowing your lawn and making your food and haven't broken a law deserve more than to be run down in the street by an out of control.
Wisconsin have maids and gardeners and all the shit you just said.
I'm one of them, buddy. I own a landscape company. The people in Wisconsin have plenty of maids, gardeners, and so do the people in Congress. You think the people in Congress don't employ undocumented immigrants? You don't think that the people in Congress every day, rich people in Congress have undocumented domestics?
It's all rural and farms.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, buddy. Yeah. You were one of the people who's been scared by the scare tactics used by the right, scaring people in South Dakota who will never meet an undocumented immigrant. Oh, Mexicans are all criminals. They're invaders. Classifying them as invaders just to scare people with your bullshit is
let's go through it logically, bud. If somebody from another country purposefully breaks the laws by invading your country, trying to not get caught, trying to go under the radar.
You said invading for the last time. Bye. See that characterizing every person who just is trying to make a living and not starve to death as a coward and an invader. You're a coward, buddy. You're a coward and you're a piece of shit. These fucking assholes on the right who think that everybody who's an immigrant who came here because they're starving to death or because they don't see another way out as a coward is ignorant beyond it. But this is the fucking level of thinking that we're dealing with here. Now I'm the last one. If you came here undocumented, you need to figure out a way to get right, and they need to reform the laws to make people make it more able for good people to just come here. They need to, the border should be closed. The law should be reformed, and people who are here, especially criminals, need to be taken out. Nobody's arguing with that. Again, this is the extremes of a party. This is a guy who calls somebody an invader when he doesn't have 2 cents in his pocket and he's just trying to get here and feed him fucking self. You're a coward for saying that, pal. Right? And doing it in the name of Christ. That's the other thing. It's like, oh yeah. Holding the Bible in one hand and a fucking and a weapon in the other hand and pretending you're a Christian. I gave that guy way more than time because he sort of had a point behind there somewhere. But that's just hate coming out. That's just bigotry. Every cow, he's a cow. You leave your country. Well, maybe your country deserves to be left. You think that if you don't think you have any political power in the country, what about that guy who has to deal with corruption on a level that he can't? He's just a farmer, and he's got the federales are paid off. There's nobody. People who are trying to take care of their families are not cowards. Who's this guy now?
Hi, how are you, bro?
I'm good, man. What do you got? 30 seconds to make a good point.
Yeah, okay, I'm good.
What happened? What the hell is this? Look at you, man. Sweet, man. I don't know. He's got some kind of way to block me cutting them off. I know. It's pretty good, man. See what you guys see why I don't do this, right?
Hello, brother. How are you? Howdy, brother. Where from? Hello, brother. Where from?
What are you, AI? What is this? Why? How do they do this without like everybody else? They just came up the easy way to like.
Bang.
That's pretty good. What language are you speaking, man? What language is that? I'd love to learn that.
My language is Urdu.
Urdu. You're a Muslim guy?
Understand Urdu?
No. I wish I could speak more languages. I don't understand Urdu. But we'll see you later, man. Why don't you go ahead and take off, dude? I don't know what this is, man. These guys got away. You see why I don't do this. I'm not slick enough with this. Everybody else, I was able to just pull up the thing and dismiss them, right? But at least I was able to mute the dude, right? So we'll wait for him to go away. You got a pretty AI there, though. The guy's using a filter. I'm trying to see. There's no. It must be a hack where you're able to like block the way that. Yeah, he's got a filter, but I can't. Like those other dudes that were on, I just brought up. I hit their screen, and it gave me the option to end. With this dude, I just got to have to put up with it. I guess I don't know. Oh boy. Well. We got a half an hour out of the show, man. Thanks for fucking things up. It was that first dude, right? Swipe left to close. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that's fun for him. But all I'm doing now is making myself pause. I know that. That's pretty good. I wish I knew what that was about. These guys, look at the self-satisfied smile. Yeah, you must be bored, man. People are bored at home doing that. All right, well, you can sit there with your fucking face. and we'll see what's up. Yeah, I don't see a way to block them. If I hit the button, it doesn't bring up that option. It just brings up an option to follow them back. Here, let me select a reason, pretending to be someone, intellectual crime, frauds and scams. How about that one? All right, report it anyway. Maybe you got an admin on here that can help. I don't know. I really wish I could do this. See, you see why it's just a trap. Yeah, I would be very bohemian. I would leave my country if I could. I feel that. Of course, Jesus was a brown-skinned refugee himself. He didn't speak Urdu, though. That's the thing about Christian nationalism is it's neither Christian nor American. Because Jesus over and over in the New Testament talked about faith by by choice, not by coercion from the government, and he also talked about staying out of politics and government affairs over and over again. And it's not American because Americans, the core values are freedom of religion and not a government sanctioned religion. And Christian nationalism asserts that one religion should be favored over another one for in terms of political identity, in terms of national identity, and that those followers of that religion should enjoy more privilege than the other ones. Yeah, you're an idiot, buddy. You make yourself look like an idiot. I don't know what you're doing on here, but nobody thinks it's fun. It's easy enough to mute, so nobody can hear you and your Freddie Mercury mustache. That's cute, though. All right, guys. See you later. Good job. All right, I'm back. We got rid of that idiot. I guess I'm not going to take any invites again anymore. That was good, though. I don't know how he did that. I was able to. It just didn't come up with an option to cut him off. So it must be a cool hack that they figured out for TikTok. But I got rid of him, right? So anyway, that really backfired. Thanks for bringing on guests. A real good job with that. So Poodle Prancing joined. I'll jump back on for a few minutes and see if anybody comes back. Then we're going to take off and do some other stuff. Today, I don't know what's going on with YouTube's working now. Okay, good deal. Yeah, that was fucked up. I need to Google how to end guest lives like that when there's no option to do so. Because the first two people that worked with, it was easy to crap them right out. Caveman 8866. Yeah, sorry, we had to jump on. I had to jump off. Bohemian's back on, and we are on the tube. Apparently, can you still hear me on the tube, Luce? If you're doing that, some guy laying in bed in Pakistan. Cool. Let me bring up the old Reddit. Well, you know what? I don't know if I can. I had somebody change all my settings so that they wouldn't. They wouldn't keep coming up every time my computer restarted, and now it's like I don't have any it doesn't remember, right? I've been logged out of everything essentially. Alec Astor, what's up, brother? Long time no see. Hector's back. Thanks. Saggy nuts. I love it. I love saggy nuts, don't you guys? Saggy tits, saggy nuts. It's all good. Gotta rock with what you got, man. Not much yes, continue, fucker. There we go. Let's go open that and then move tab to new window. And I can keep, let's find the subreddit. There it is, atheism. Demons don't like Jesus, evangelist preaching to captive audience, booted from Alaska Airlines. Speaking of Alec Astro, you can spell Alaska with Alec Astro. Those guys got it going on. Good for them. I was in the UK. Florida evangelist Whitney Lynn was removed from an Alaska Airlines flight after delivering a sermon sparking debate over safety and religious expression. Oh my God. Talk about your Mar-a-Lago lips and your bad dye job. But that's a good story, right? Love seeing that. Let's see what else we got. Oh my God. Lawsuit alleges, Kim Davis still in the news. Remember the hate pig from Kentucky who wouldn't marry gay folk? And again, you get one look at this chick, you're like, oh my goodness. Woo! Well, that really blew my momentum. Christian fundamentalist Tennessee governor candidate execute women for abortion. Yes, women should be executed for abortion. Again, because fetuses have more rights in the minds of the Republicans, the Republicans, the Trumpkins, the country Trumpkins, than do human, living, breathing women. That's one of the biggest embarrassments of the pro-life movement, is that they value fetuses more than they do human beings. And you know what half of this is about is the population decline in America. We're in real trouble with population growth. No one wants to raise a bunch of kids in this fucking environment. How about we work on making the country good again, and people might want to have kids. Nobody wants to do that to their kids. Nobody can do what their parents did and what their grandparents did. It's going the other way. No one can afford a house. No one, people are living in the mom's basements because everything's just gone off the fucking rails. Why would people have kids? It costs money, and then the kids can't take care of themselves. They got to grow up in a country where half of the country call immigrants cowards and what did he call them? Cowards and invaders. An invader guy comes over here with nothing but his fucking pants, but he's an invader. DMAC, yeah. Somebody pushing the gay agenda on your kids. Is that really going on somewhere? It's certainly not me. I don't give a fuck what you. Why? How about you stop giving a shit what people do with themselves? Huh? How does that affect you? Latent. Nothing says latent homosexual like dudes who cry about gay stuff in the country. Nobody's pushing the gay agenda on your kids. Ask your fucking kids. They all get it. They all have friends. They don't want to hear that they're going to hell from some imbecile preacher who believes that 2,000-year-old scrolls found in the desert are truth and came from a God. God who can't fucking just take care of people. God who allows priests to do whatever they want in his church. God who gives kids cancer. God who, please, idiocy. No me via Polsku. Thank you for asking, but no. Do I look like a Polish person? I guess I kind of do, right? But see, I'm thinking about it. Thank you, Futuristic Relic, for asking if I speak Polish. That's really all I know. No. Ty mówisz po polsku? You obviously do. No agenda is being put right. And if there is somewhere, if there's like the rando teacher who's doing that shit, they need to be taken up on it. I'm no way. The idea that because I hate the national pig, that I'm some kind of weird progressive woke ass left. No. Yeah, am I left leaning? Yeah. Do I care what people do with their bodies? No. Do I think the government should tell you what religion you can be or what you can do with your body? No. But do I want everyone to be told how they can talk and how they can think? No. You rednecks in the country, you're allowed to be idiot crackers. You're allowed to be hateful fucks. Doesn't affect me. The thing is that the party that talks about smaller government wants to control you, right? They want to tell you what you can and you can't do with your body. They want to roll back women's health rights. They want to take away your freedom of speech. They're not for freedom. Christian nationalism cannot be for freedom because religion is restrictive of freedoms. That's what religion is restrictions on certain freedoms, right? Religion tells you, Christianity tells you what you're not supposed to do. Of course, Trump started a recession. Of course. My Spanish, no, pero hablo español. Más español que polonés. Hablo casi la pura idioma, my friend. Hey, Nikki Baker, where you been? You once got called a cracker ass cracker? I grew up getting called a honky from time to time. That's how old I am. I don't hear that word any much, but yeah. Nothing's more annoying than country ass crackers. But they're allowed to be country ass crackers, and you can't tell them how to think or talk. All that did was get us this pig, right? The whining fucking left and 3 genders, 4 genders. Okay, be whatever you want. I will support your right to call yourself anything. I don't care. I love my trans friends. I love my trans and my gay friends. I love them. Love them. But I don't fucking tell fucking crackers in the country that they have to love them. That all that does is make them hate you worse and make them elect dicks like this that they knew was a piece of shit. They knew it, and they know it now especially. There's just, again, you see the numbers going like this. Every day there's less, but there's always going to be someone who thinks he didn't do anything wrong, and he's just the greatest thing. He's saving the country. Worked for the Greyhound bus? I don't get it, Nikki. Yeah, but that's right. They have the right to do the thing, but people like us don't. They want to call an immigrant, documented or undocumented, an invader. That guy's so threatened. What a small penis dude that was. Casey Morosa. Oi. Oh, you worked for the Greyhound bus when you got it called a cracker ass cracker. Okay, that vibes. Now I get it. Yeah, you meet all kinds of people on the bus, and grumpy black folk is a real thing. And I love black people, love black women. I do, and I love everybody. I'm one of those guys. I hate people, but I love persons, right? Because groupthink is the end of true freedom. It really is. Groupthink is just dangerous, and that's what we've got going on, right? Is groupthink. This asshole who's like, well, he heard all those things. He doesn't know any immigrants. He doesn't know any that are cowards or invaders. He just has a fucking shitty opinion informed by Fox News and other hateful fucking input that he gets in his fucking shitty right-wing blogosphere. That's all. New York Craft Mom joins us. Yovi, what's up? Thank you, Casey. I appreciate you. What time is it over there? It's 7 or 5 o'clock at night, 4 or 5 o'clock in Old Blighty. Oh, I miss London, don't I? It's just too fucking expensive for me. I can't wait to go back though. Did I just say what the fuck is wrong with you, BMJ? Did I just fucking talked about how the fucking ultra liberals are as big a problem as the fucking crackers on the right? The progressive woke ass left got us where we are. We need the middle back. But yeah, the liberals do. And this is the thing that the conservatives in America, they call themselves conservative. It's on a scale, right? American freedom values, Western values, human rights, personal freedoms, separation of church and state. All of those are liberal values. They're liberal values. Nobody in America is conservative compared to the conservatives in Iran. Nobody. I told a guy in the bar, I'm like, oh, well, it's because in general in America we're more, you want your money. He was railing against Islam and Muslims. He's like, Muslims, they do this, they beat their women, they do this, they do that. I'm like, so they're a lot of Muslims are more liberal than that. You're looking at the extreme. And he's like, I don't want them to be liberal, because he thought that meant being an American Democrat liberal that he hates so bad, even though he has no fucking idea what it really means. But we've undereducated people to the point of stupidity in this country. It's really, really true. Yeah, crackers, saltines. Conservatives do love fairy tales. They love fairy tales. Yeah, conservative Muslims, yes. Yes, the people in Iran who want to have Sharia law and they want to cover their women. That's all. Those are ultra conservative values. They're not about freedom. They're not about uh, equality. They're not about any of that. That's more conservative. I blame the Yammerhant. What's up? Uh, poor babe. Sure. Get help. Get a fucking. How about you get an icon? How lazy do you got to be? You can't put something up on your fucking profile. Finish your fucking profile and get your own live. Turd hammer. Ravioli 1312. Leslie, thanks for the follow. Looking to come out of this with 101.9 on our way to 102. 420. See that? Yeah, 10:24. 6 hours right from here, and 5 from the East Coast. Yeah, that's right. I always have trouble remembering. I think Europe, most of Europe, in a different time zone than England. I don't know where the line is over there, but I do remember flying there. And we're back. We are back. Thank you. Having a walk with my Starbucks coffee and my bagel from Noah. Tony, I love you, man, but God, I hate Starbucks coffee. That's the worst fucking coffee in the world. No one. I love Starbucks as a company. I think they take care of their people, and the food's pretty good. But man, they have the worst burnt ass coffee. I'll do anything to get coffee from somewhere else. I like it black. And if you drink Starbucks coffee black, it's not just strong, it's over roasted and shitty. Yeah, most of Europe's an hour ahead, right? Thank you. Yeah. I have a bagel. I'll make that for you, Lorna. It's sitting in the fridge. It's a little bit old, but you toast it up, you'll never know. It's not moldy yet. Do you like Pete's or Caribou? Yeah, any of them. Honestly, I like both of those. Pete's, I only think I've seen once or twice, but Caribou coffee we have some around here. Dunkin's coffee is better than Starbucks. McDonald's coffee is better than Starbucks. Yeah, so if you get a whipped creamy drink, you can't tell, right? And most people don't really drink black coffee. So if you go to Starbucks and get a double latte, low skim almond milk, chai frappuccino, caramel, blibbity blah, then you can't taste the shit coffee because you're in it for the sugar and stuff. No shade, that you do you, but yeah, if you like black coffee, you don't. Starbucks is like, okay, good job pulling one over on people. You've seen a commercial where they're like, yeah, we go to the ends of the earth to burn shitty coffee that you got from somewhere. Thank you, Sylvia. Yes. No, like I say, I don't really patronize Starbucks because I'm just about the coffee. But whenever my family loves it and my kids want to say, thing about Starbucks is you pay more for coffee. You pay like 7 or 8 or 10 times more for coffee at Starbucks for this much coffee than you would for gasoline. If gasoline was as expensive as Starbucks coffee, people would fucking kill themselves. But people will line up around the block to pay do the math. Even 5 ounces of Starbucks coffee costs you $6. Do the fucking math. A gallon is 128 ounces. That's what? We'll make it easy. A 12-ounce coffee, that's 10. You $50 a gallon is what you'd be paying for gas if it was as expensive as Starbucks coffee. It's a fucking embarrassment. And the way that the people line up and cause traffic accidents around my neighborhood, there's one that's in a bad spot so that if you're in line to get because you got to have your Starbucks today. First of all, I don't know. I can't sanction paying for coffee. You make it at home. You get it the way you want it. And it doesn't cost almost anything, right? But if you got $7 for a shitty fucking thing of sugar and bad coffee every morning, again, now you must be richer than me, buddy. I cannot. And if I was rich, I wouldn't fucking spend that kind of money on that kind of stuff. Yes, yum. Grind beans and use a stainless steel French press. That's beautiful. I bet you that's just fire. Good morning, Uncle Todd. What's up in Austin? Poor Austin, Texas's liberal spot, isn't it? Use a lot of numbers. I'm on TikTok to be so anonymous, I can't even make up a username. Love you, man. Thanks for being here. Good day to go to Barton's Spring. I don't know what that is. You guys vibing on Austin? Barton's Spring, is that an Austin hotspot? Thanks for joining my second attempt today, man. And I got talking about invaded. I made the mistake of saying, hey, you want to go live? I'll take some live guests today. You can tell me what you think. And I got some fucking trolls who were just like, just here to like have fun fucking with people's lives. How do you get pleasure out of that, man? Your life must be really boring, Mr. Urdu. What is Barton Springs? Tell us. Is that sounds like a park or is it like a business? Oh, it's a natural spring. They built a pool around. It's about 68 degrees. Oh, you're nice. Nice, nice. Yeah, my dad's in Montana and there's hot springs and they take advantage of that. Obviously, a lot of geothermal activity there. And yeah, that's bad. That's badass. I wish I lived around places like that. That's one thing we're missing in this area here. But of course, we're also missing earthquakes, tornadoes. Well, we sort of get tornadoes, but hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunami. we're like we're actually even with the Missouri fault. Sorry, Lucy, but Missouri's going to crack in half pretty soon. Even with that, Chicagoland is as far away from any fault line as anywhere on the planet. I'm pretty sure. It's factually true. You can look it up. 3 hours out of Austin. That's just like down the road in Texas, isn't it? That's like 3 hours. That's nothing. You got to drive 3 hours to get to the grocery store in some parts of Texas. Pretty sure. Yeah, that sounds like it's nice in the winter and nice in the summer. 68 degrees. It's pretty good. Barton Springs is a jungle in the desert, or like an oasis. Hop, skip, and a jump. Yeah, for sure. I actually live in San Marcos, but nobody outside knows where that is. Well, sure. I mean, I get that. That's why I was when you live in, you're living in a suburb of Chicago or a town outside the suburbs slightly. You're going to say Chicago. Everybody knows. You go to Europe and you're like Chicago. When I was in England, if I brought up Chicago, like, oh, Al Capone, yeah, Al Capone. I'm like, dude, that was a fucking a whole century ago now. But that's like the people in England when I was there in the '80s, they were obsessed with Marilyn Monroe, who just doesn't do anything for me. Sorry, and James Dean. They like literally cowboys, gangsters, and Marilyn Monroe and James Dean thrill the British imagination like nothing you can imagine. It doesn't hurt that there are topless girls there. Whoa, book me a ticket, homie. Man, do I love glistening tits. I technically live in Katy. Okay, well, we've heard of that though, Katy, Texas. I believe we've heard of that. Like Las Vegas, and people say it was better when the mob was. It probably was. Unless you fell afoul of the mob. Right? Okay, halfway between Austin and San Antone. All right, San Antone, the second biggest city there. I didn't know that. I always thought Dallas was. But that's what nobody gives a shit. We're up here and we're like Texas. Remember when they kept talking about the wall. Nobody talks about Trump's border wall anymore. My thing was I wish they would just build the fucking wall around Texas. That's what needs to happen. Build that wall around Texas and let them fuck off. Take care of themselves. Yeah, I feel like you say what you want about the mob. They take care of their people, my friend. Marilyn was classy. Marilyn was famously not classy. She didn't wash herself. She was a redneck from Bakersfield. She was not classy. She cultivated an image, and she had a natural on-screen talent. I'm going to take away what she did well. Laurence Olivier, all he wanted to be was a movie star, and all Marilyn wanted to be was a respected actress. And the two of them couldn't justify the fact that neither of them could really be that. And it's My Week with Marilyn, or I think that's the name of the movie. It's a great fucking movie. And is it Kenneth Branagh plays Olivier? I forget, but that's a great movie. Michelle Phillips, no, what's her name? The one that was married to Heath Ledger. I can't remember. But yeah, she plays Marilyn, and if I'm thinking of the right movie, there's been a couple of movies like that, but it was a fascinating movie. Because no matter how great of an actor Laurence Olivier was, he wasn't as natural on film as Marilyn was, and there was no way he was going to excite the public as a movie star. It wasn't going to happen for him. Michelle Williams, thank you, Casey. Can we just move all the MAGAs out of Texas and send them to Florida, and we'll make Texas a sanctuary? Yeah, I feel like if you moved all the MAGA out of Texas, there'd be crickets. It's so fucking big. Sure, yeah, there's liberals there. You'd have Austin, and wherever else. But if you moved all the MAGA people out of Texas, that would be the most underpopulated state in the union. It would be more underpopulated than Alaska. 7 years, yeah. She's got funny movies. They're good. Some of them are good movies. Some like it hot. Like I said, she had a natural charisma that came across, but she was famously a dirtball. Yeah, I'm sure I would. It's a huge state. Obviously, there's plenty of. I just wish y'all could like get rid of old Governor Hot Wheels, right? Man, is that guy a piece of shit? It's true. I'm a man. Do you miss Ann Richards? Good God, she was just a wonderful politician. I just meant I prefer her over Carter. Okay, that's a low bar. Oh man, that guy is such a living piece of shit. Oh my God. Short stacks. Dang, Sheba. Dang, Sheba. Buddy. Buddy Gorilla. There's Sherry Prince. Yep, yep. Giving you a toot because I didn't. Did you? Well, that's wonderful. That's really cool, Todd. How old are you? If you don't mind me asking. Uncle Todd. You're old enough to be my uncle. You're a geezer. Yeah, how does he keep getting elected, this Abbott faggot? I didn't mean to say that. Excuse me. It was kind of an assonance there. I'm going to get kicked off of TikTok now. I said the word. 56. All right. Well, you're not older than me. But yeah, no, Ann Richards was great. She famously, one of the last interviews I saw with her, she's like, I don't know why anybody, for the life of me, she was asked about gay marriage. For the life of me, I don't know why anyone cares who marries who. How does it affect you? Yes, that's the point, man. Yeah, the gerrymandering. Yeah, I know. Violation warning. Now I'm restricted. God damn it. See, that's and in the wrong context, I should stay away from those words. But I'm old school, and I have so many gay friends, and I always have, and that's the way they talk, honestly. So like, oh, you can call me that kind of thing. So I apologize. I hope I didn't offend anybody here. You guys know me. You should know. I went to a high school that had a gay support group in 1978. Yeah, long before it was cool, because I went to a Eastern prep school, and that was a thing. It wasn't seen as being ultra liberal. It was just, life is changing, and everybody deserves respect. Um, yeah, say it some more now. No, no, I'm sorry, Sherry Princess. Sadly, your spawn got a job, and I had to warn them about the MAGA boomers. Yeah. Well, at least I got a job. Roaming Magi, the Roaming Magi, Genie. You're originally from Illinois and California. Which one first? Yeah, like Illinois, a lot of Illinois is what's wrong with the progressive left. It's a mess of overtaxing, and the people on the right have points, and they need to listen to, and we need good governance that bridges the middle and decides what is not too much and what is just right and what does the most good for the most people. We're working to move to Cali so they can go to Cal Poly. Your spawn, that's awesome. Born in Chicago. Woo! God, I love Chicago. We were just down there. I go down as much as I can. Saw the White Sox a couple weeks back. And that was boss. It's been too long since I actually went to a baseball game. And I love a baseball game. Here's this. Try saying something like, "How's your weekend treating you so far? Resting or running around?" This is like suggestions from TikTok on how I can do better. I'm alive. Term limits need to be enforced for everybody. Term limits should be there for everybody, for sure. No, no, but look at friggin' Mitch McConnell's been in office since the dinosaurs still roam the earth. He doesn't get anything done now except lay in a hospital bed. And well, we need term limits for everybody so we can avoid these people just stealing money from the public. I think he's alive. I think they've shown that he's alive, but maybe not. I can't personally verify it. Yeah, and he'll go the way of Lindsey Graham. I was watching. You watched the friggin' the funeral for Lindsey Graham, lying in state and having the Republicans talk shit about what a great person he was. He was a hate pig, just like the pig we got in office. He was a hate pig. He didn't fucking care about it. And then talk about a self-loathing homosexual. Good God. Thanks, man. I like doing the bitch. I call it bitch McConnell. Bitch McConnell. That's my bitch McConnell. When person got sucking shit in, so it's not even there. And then you're just like, well, Yeah, night tub. Yeah, well, Christians are afraid of their gay side. See, I embrace my feminine side. I really do. And I've been a guy who's lived an outrageously heterosexual lifestyle. I would have been called a womanizer in the day, and I had to learn my lessons through me too. And I've had to try to mature and grow up, but I love women so much. I do, but I'm not threatened by. I'm an actor and a guy who was in flowers and horticulture. Right, I've been around gay guys again since I was in high school. I was a theater guy in high school at a high school with a gay support. I've known and loved gay dudes and gay women since I was a tadger, right? And they're just among the best fucking people that I've ever known. I don't have any issue with it at all. I don't mind. I've been on stage kissing men. I can admit there have been men who were so pretty that I was attracted to them. That doesn't scare me to go there. But yes, the closeted. And did you hear Biden? Hunter Biden is talking about how it's a gay mafia running Washington, and everybody knows who they are. I'm so glad somebody finally said it. It's clearly obvious. Sorry, Luce, I'm checking out the comments. I wish there were more in front of me. I'll get this friggin' set up a little bit better. Yeah, I should go back and do a deep dive on Marilyn's movies. A few of those are just classic. The Billy Wilder films. I mean, that's good stuff. You should, for real. The big one's coming. I think it's one of those places where the fault line is it's not the kind of fault line that's going to do little shocks like you get in California and other places on the Ring of Fire. But when that fucker snaps, goodbye Branson. Old Jim Stafford won't have to find a new place to go. Rita Hayworth, yum yum yum. Yeah, you know what? The pinup girls from the day. Used to work for airlines. Quite, of course, yes. Flight attendants, the old stewards and stewardesses, right? Flight attendants, ridiculously gay. If you're not, it's a great job for people who like the freedom of travel and not going to have a family. They don't, I get it, and they're good at it. Grindr flew their flag at half mast for Graham. I didn't see that. That's awesome. Of course, and so are immigrants. And some of them are Christians, but they act like Christians. The Glasgow Rangers. Why do you got the Union Jack up there, Glasgow? He loves the UK. He loves being part of that United Kingdoms. And you're one of those guys. He's one of those 10 guys who still thinks God is real in England, in Scotland. Sorry, Glasgow. In the UK, on Great Britain, on the old island there in the North Atlantic. Still, there's like you go to the church in England. There's like two old ladies still sitting there talking to the Archbishop, my friend. Religion is dead as fuck in Europe. But here's a guy, right? He's like, when you stand before the Lord. I love how no matter how many people there are on the planet, no matter how overpopulated it gets, it's still all good. God's got time. Sooner or later, He's got time for every one of them. Just stand one by one. Well, let me see here. It looks like you denied your homosexuality for your whole life, persecuted others for not denying theirs. And you know what? Read the Bible. I'm genderless. There's passages where people are suckling on his teats. They didn't just in the day we conceptualize things. All that shit is a Western cultural phenomenon. All that crazy fucking gender role shit. On a call. You got work to do. All right. Love you. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Make sure you join us. A passionate conversation on politics, Hollywood, and pop culture. Join the debate. Poor Patriot Carrie. He's a hatriot. Patriot Carrie. She's a hatriot. Let me see here. Yeah. Carrie. Patriot Carrie, not Carrier. Patriot Carrie won. That's the thing about people who call themselves patriots. They're just hatriots, right? They've really it's really gross how they've co-opted the flag, right? And it's because they don't mind being tacky in their neighborhoods, right? You find like Democrats in general aren't tacky enough to unload fucking all of that fucking shitty memorabilia on their lawns. It looked like a flag store. It's great to fly a flag. It's great to be a patriot. It's great to love America. We all love America. But watching a MAGA truck fly up and down the road, coal rolling people with 2 American flags and the Punisher flag and the black and blue thing. Yeah, you really, oh boy, you really hurt my feelings with those clown emojis there. But you do you. Yeah, it's funny. I drive through Kentucky and Tennessee, and there was literally a church on every corner. Thank you, Kentucky Sun 63. Get that Free Will Baptist Church there on the corner. Yeah, free will. That's a thing. Fucking algorithm knows what you're going to look at next, but you got free will. Keep believing that. Free will, that's just a justification for the existence of evil. Well, God can't stop the priest from diddling kids because he gave them free will. What about the kids' free will? Huh? What about that? It's so dumb. I judge hard when I see Trump shit. Yeah, so do I. Yeah. Well, he's the national pig. What can you do? We've literally enabled the worst parts of America to be played out on the world stage. Not a politician, not a diplomat, not a statesman, liar, manipulator, hate pig. That's what we got now. And I would love to see a good centrist Republican in office. I would love that. I think that's all we fucking need. Honestly, I would vote for him or her instantly if there was one out there that could show me that they care about preserving freedoms and actually defending the Constitution instead of destroying the 3 branches of government and consolidating power around the executive branch and enabling the president to do anything he wants, because if he can't, they're going to put him in jail, right? Well, that's all. They're going to bite you in the ass when the next president does shit you don't like. Then they're going to try to roll it back as hard as they can. My favorite is, you lost, just take it. You lost, just move on, right? Like you did in 2020. Nothing's as stupid as the MAGA mob. Nothing. A new church here called His Church. All right. Yes, someone who actually listened to the people instead of trying to protect their political position, which is what it's about with these Trumpy assholes. They know that he controls the base. And if you run afoul of him, you're not going to get elected. If you're from Kentucky and you're trying to be a centrist Republican, you're scared because Trump's going to come out against you, and then you can't win. You can't get anything done. Love to see a guy like Andy Beshear, just a guy, a good senator, the Republican governor of Massachusetts, somebody who can win in a state that's not their color. You know that person speaks to everybody in their state. That's who we need. We need the middle to come back over politics. Usha, Red Stick, GKB, what's up? Thanks for the like, homie. How we suffered under Biden. Okay, how? Yeah, and that's the other. How long are you going to keep blaming Biden? How long? Biden. Oh, but you like Biden? Biden fucked up. I'm the first to say it. I wouldn't have wanted Biden in the first place. This old men bullshit. These fucking ancient white men running shit. Dude couldn't even cut his hair right. If you have that fringe that sticks out in the back, go to a fucking barber, buddy, and have him clean that shit up. Just comb over face. What's wrong with you? How do you fucking elect somebody who's can't even take care of themselves in that way? It's like hiring somebody with no teeth, or it's like, if you can't take care of your teeth, how are you going to take care of the country? Right? If you can't fucking fix your fucking hair or stop getting plastic surgery so your eyes look like almonds stuffed in a pumpkin, how do we trust you with anything? You have no fucking capability of being a reasonable judge of anything if you let yourself go on like that. I have bad teeth. Boy, you're not running for president, are you? I didn't, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, if you can't take care of the simple things in your life, how do we expect you to take care of the fucking country? I probably got bad teeth too now because they've been yellow because I was, I did that thing that I like. But now since chemo, they're soft, and I got to get to the dentist because I probably got 10 cavities again. Nursemaids should disqualify you to leave. Trump is worse than Vader. You know what? We love Vader. Vader did nothing wrong. Yeah, it's true. I would take Vader today over Trump. Yeah, it's too bad that the dentist wasn't just free, right? In a country like this, you should be able to go to the dentist and not have to worry about And that's not communism. Again, the social utopias of Europe. When I was in Europe in the 80s, again, I had a earache. I'm prone to earaches like a little kid. All my life prone to earaches because I have a reduced eustacia. Um, I got to go to the hospital for free. They gave me drugs, they gave me medicine. It didn't cost me a dime, and I'm not a citizen. That's just what's up with socialized medicine. They can fucking handle it. It's the insurance companies and the powerful pharma lobby that influence all of that stuff that's keeping it from being something that a country this rich should enjoy. It's not a threat to capitalism. It's been shown. Still plenty of rich people in Sweden. You can still make your zillions. Just fucking start voting for the people. Start voting to make the government about the people again, of the people, by the people, and for the people. Period. Right now, it's by the oligarchs, for the oligarchs, of the oligarchs. Bloke, earache my eye. A duck would be better than Trump, but where would the duck go? Because he fucked up the the reflecting pool. There's no place in Washington for the duck to go, man. What is an atheist exactly? I'm starting to get suspect about religion. What's an atheist? An atheist who doesn't believe that there's a God. That's all. Atheism, no belief. We don't know that there's not a God, but there's no evidence for that, and it seems highly unlikely since there's pretty clearly, as the deists knew, there's pretty clearly no God that interacts with us. All that I love it when Christians are like, "Oh, God answers prayers all the time." The what makes you stop doing something? Common sense. Again, there's no free will. The sum of your experience and education has decided what you're going to do next. That's all. There's no free will. That's why the algorithm can predict it. There's been 1,000 fucking sci-fi movies, from Minority Report on up to Westworld, all this shit, where AI is pretty soon going to be able to just predict what everybody does. They're going to be able to figure out how you're going to die based on all the information that's available about you. But atheism is just the denial of a claim. Somebody at some point made up God with no evidence. They just made it up, and it has been handed down through word of mouth, indoctrination, and lies, and manipulation, and government control, to the point where everybody sort of assumes it's true. So be like, you can't prove there's no God. I don't have to prove there's no God. It's not an assertion that I make. It's the denial of a baseless assertion. So, the human beings have a vested interest intellectually and genetically to see a pattern, to find a reason for this. This is how we're wired, right? So people think that they have the answers, and it makes them comfortable. They don't know why this happens. They don't know where the universe came from, but it makes them more comfortable. It makes them feel in control if they can believe a made-up story that gives them that answer. Most people would rather believe a comforting lie than the uncomfortable truth. I'm not wired that way, and most atheists aren't. But most people aren't wired as atheists are, because that's just human nature. That's why some of us are leaders and some of us aren't. Most people are followers who, when they hear the rustling in the bush, they don't go towards it because it might be a tiger. Okay, but it might be something really good too. And the intrepid explorer and the leader will go and look and see what that is and take that risk, because chances are it's probably not a tiger. It might be something small that you can eat, and you were previously starving. So, it's not surprising that less than 7% of people actually identify as atheists. The big point here is that close to 30% of people are non-religious, because religion has failed us on an epic fucking scale. Religion is shitty. No one wants it anymore because Western religion is shitty. It's guilt and fear driven. It demonizes people that are verifiably decent human beings. And the kids don't want it. They all have gay friends. They all have trans friends. They don't want to hear that those people are shitty and going to hell, because they don't fucking follow the rules that were laid out for people who lived 2,500 years ago and 3,000 years ago. The Torah and biblical law in the Old Testament, this shit just doesn't apply. The morality does not apply to today's world. We don't deny handicapped folk or physically challenged folk from entering the temple. That used to be a thing. Why? Because that's where everybody went. They didn't know it wasn't contagious. They made up a law to be like, don't go in the temple because they don't want everybody getting sick. And now we know that that's not how it works. And we know it's not right to deny people the right to go because they have an ailment. We're okay mixing fabrics because evidently and evidentially doesn't cause any harm to anything. That those laws don't make any sense anymore. So why do the other ones? None of it makes any fucking sense. It's archaic. It's ancient. Daniel, you got to get in the comments and ask me what you're about, Daniel. We are burned already once. If you want to talk and be accepted as a guest, get in the comments and tell us what you're about and be honest. God hates handicapped people. Why did he make them handicapped? And that's hateful enough. He hated them before they were handicapped and made them handicapped. Dana Boone, is that you, Daniel? Same Daniel? No, I don't know. Genesis was an oral tale passed down by illiterate shepherds. Yes, that was this fireside stories that the shamans told in order for people to get their head around the creation of their society. That's the Hebrew creation myth. And unless you're a fucking Palestinian Hebrew, it's not your creation myth. Why do white Western people cling to the creation myth of a different culture? We should be pagans. If we're going to have a religion, it should be Norse religion and Gaelic and all of those pagan religions that were the people's religion before we became Christian because of assimilation due to conquering wars and expansionism. Obvious stuff. Towards the end of life, humans will turn to religion or become more involved as it brings comfort. Those are people who were born into religion and have moved away from it, right? Because it's, again, indoctrination. Maybe I can't tell the future. Maybe I will, but I'd be disappointed in myself. And there's no evidence for it. It's silly. And the more we learn about the universe, the more we know that it really, really silly. I'm really excited about what they're going to discover. I wish I could live forever just to see that, what they're really going to discover about different phases of reality. That's, our reality is based on our perception of the three dimensions we can move around in. There's likely all kinds of shit we just can't see. And if you take a little, I'm talking about a little lysergic, my friends, and it kind of opens your mind. You're like, oh, recommend that for everybody at least once. But people who are indoctrinated into Western religion, you've been your brain's broken mostly. My indoctrination was not difficult to break out of because it didn't have a hardcore church that scared me with hell. Right? I grew up in a congregational church in New England. We accepted science. We accepted the metaphorical nature of the Bible, and Jesus's message was one of love your neighbor, love yourself, love your neighbor, be kind to people, turn the other cheek, don't make war. That's it. Nobody leaned into the fact that he was God. Pretty sure there was an atheist in the back of every church I ever went to when I was growing up. But my own intellect allowed me, my education allowed me to deconstruct. Right? I just quit that shit. I didn't deconstruct. I'm like, that's obviously not real. All you got to do is think for yourself. But see, the Bible is full of shit like lean not into your own understanding. Because they know it. The writers of the New Testament knew that a certain amount of people were going to be like, this is bunk, right? And many more people are going to be like, oh, wow, I better do that. I better do that, because most people just don't think that deeply about it. We're close to the next hour. Try saying something like, you could get more followers if you were nicer. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Lol, yeah. Tell us you don't understand cosmology, Z22. Blow my ears out. I love it when people say, yeah, but you've decided to believe the universe just materialized out of nothing. No, it didn't. It expanded from a singularity. It didn't materialize out of nothing. And you characterizing it like that just tells us that you listen to your friggin' junior pastor, who was probably touching on one of the 16-year-olds in the group, because they've got that story, right? They've got all the objections are taken care of. Like I said in the Bible, don't lean into your own understanding. If you see something that denies this bullshit, don't believe it. Believe this, because it's true. And don't, God knows. You don't know. Don't believe your eyes. Yeah, the universe didn't come from nothing. Apparently, there was never nothing. I know that's a little bit hard for you to get your head around, but you keep believing in the Sky Daddy who made it up all, because he just came out of nothing, right? That's right. Red stick. You're right. Yes, everyone is born an atheist. You have to be indoctrinated into the God belief. Or make it up yourself because of something. Yes, yes, in Catholic schools, yes, of course, because Catholicism understood, for all its faults, it understood that it can't deny science as it moves forward if it's going to stay relevant. That's why evangelicalism is going to fail. If the young Earth creationism and that bullshit, people just see it as for what it is. Only a small percentage of people, 15 or 16% of Americans, really, really call themselves evangelical. They're just the loud, committed ones to politics. But to deny science and try to pretend your religion is still valid is dumb. The Catholics knew it. And so the Pope accepted evolution when it became obvious that that is the best explanation for the diversity of life on the planet, period. They're not going to deny something that we know. And in that way, God still becomes relevant because that's just the way that God did it. It was explained to me by a Catholic that the Bible explains why, because God loved us. Science explains how. And in that way, the two are compatible. Up to a point, though, right? At some point, you got to believe, if you're going to be a Christian, you got to believe a man rose from the dead. And that's just not the way it happens, kids. Yes, and of course, the day after religion was invented to explain the unknown, it was co-opted by leaders to wield control over the stupid. Yes, thank God we're atheists. Chef man, love you long time. That's what all of you believe. You just want a minute. Where did the singularity? We don't know. I don't have a problem saying we don't know. Where did the singularity come from? It came from God's ass. When they find God, he'll be hiding behind an asteroid going, what did I do? What did I do? Look at the fucking idiots that are coming out of what I did. I don't care if you believe as I do, Kobe. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Jesus. I believe an archetypical rabbi existed named Yeshua, and that his story was expanded and embellished. But it's pretty clear that there was an effort, a marketing effort on the part of the writers of the New Testament, the Gospels, to sell a new religion, and it had to have points, right? It had to have a way of becoming more popular than, say, Mithras and Zoroastrianism and other, religions of the day. They're trying to compete for your dollar. So one guy wrote one, and then two guys copied it, put a name on it that wasn't theirs, and put it out like pamphlets, right? Look at this. Look at this. This one agrees with it. It must be true. When it was just, it's been shown. Scholars know that Mark and Luke are copies or Matthew and Luke are copies of Mark, the earliest gospel, which was written 60 years after the supposed events. Nobody, you get a history book that's written 60 years after with no research, no like footnotes, no like I went and found this photograph. No, it doesn't buy. But in the day, people didn't know. It's like, oh, he said it and he backed it up. Okay, good enough. Why do you think that don't bear false witnesses in the Ten Commandments? Because it didn't have the mechanisms to prove or disprove things. So it was a real crime to accuse somebody of something it didn't do. Bearing false witness is not really about lying. It's about calling someone a witch when you don't know that they're a witch, and then they end up getting burned at the stake. That is evil, right? That'll get you sent to hell, because it's just you're making people believe because maybe you're a better speaker, maybe your story sounds better. But to accuse somebody of something that you can't prove, that's against God's law in the Torah, and for a reason in that society. Now today it's called perjury, right? But it's much more provable because we have techniques, we have science, we have forensics. Okay, Joseph. That's a lot of big words. How'd you learn those words, Joseph? I'm in a church parking lot now waiting on my son. All these sheep. What's your son doing at church, man? Atheism will make you end up a cringe, lonely boomer. I love when people make assumptions about me. You're living in your mom's basement. I could. My mom's still alive and very healthy, but I actually live in your mom's basement until it's time to do that other thing. And I live in her bedroom. But thanks, man. Yeah, lonely? Not really. I got a lot of shit going on. But yeah, good try. Look, people throw shade on me from the hat, right? MAGA cult uses religion to judge others, and when we call them out, we are the villain. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, the MAGA cult is that's some shit, man. When they study that, I'm gonna read that book because what a phenomenon, man. They've really, really bent over backwards and doubled their effort to sell a story to the stupid. And they have the parts are in place, right? Fox News took over all those little stations in the country. Now grandma only gets one station coming across the hill. She was brought up to believe that the news wouldn't lie to you. So now anything that the orange pig says must be the truth. The president wouldn't lie. Dude verifiably lies all the time. Yeah, they're all illiterate. People were, thank you, Grant. People were all illiterate. They couldn't read scripture for themselves. They couldn't read the scrolls themselves. They had to believe and they kept them that way purposely. Martin Luther was a verifiable piece of shit, but he wanted people to be able to read the Bible so that you could break it down yourself, or men at least. God is the hide and seek champion, my friends. They hate when I say I won't support your religion if you support Trump. Yeah, I mean, I support your right to have your religion. I'm not going to support your religion because religion needs to go away, but it needs to go away on its own. It doesn't need us to tell it to go away. If people were educated properly from the time they were young, there'd be no religion left. There'd be no religion left. But people are not educated properly. 5, 6-year-olds, as soon as they can think for themselves like that, should be taught about world philosophy. They should be taught the religions that mimic the one that they have around them. And then maybe they wouldn't be so easy to buy the fucking indoctrination from their parents, which is also wrong. It's wrong for you to enforce your child, to force them into a way of thinking. It makes dumb people. And all you're doing is it's child abuse. It is. Religious indoctrination is child abuse. Well, you have the right to raise our. Yeah, you do. I'm not gonna win that fight. You have the right, but I have the right to raise my kid atheist. And if I send him to public school, they learn about God from the other kids in the class. I don't have the freedom of that religious parents do, because it's unavoidable in society, and that's an embarrassment. The fact that you can't escape it as an atheist, you can't raise your kid. I did the experiment. They made it to 5 years old. They got to school. All of a sudden, they're like coming home. What's God? What's this? What's this? Teacher said, music teacher said, everybody in the classroom said, it's just so ingrained in our society that you can't raise your kid as an atheist in that way. You can tell them that you're an atheist and you can insist, but that's wrong to me. That's not right. You should teach them and let them make their own decisions. When they're 16, if they want to believe that bullshit, sign them up. Everybody's got to get to sleep at night. Yeah, Lazarus was dead for 3 to 4 days, and Jesus brought him back. Yeah, again, yeah. Was he like the zombies in Game of Thrones? Rewatching Game of Thrones with my girlfriend who never saw it. You believe that? Well, I could truly believe in evolution in your case, but not anything else. I'm not sure what that means, buddy. But thanks, Kobe. And the church doesn't like women. They want to keep women down. Well, I'm going to say the universe is ultra natural, as in supernatural. Do you think the universe has supernaturally existed in the eternity past? Oh, you're asking Z, or you're asking Red Stick. I saw too many contradictions, and how does it make sense from a religious class? Yeah, anybody goes to seminary and learns all that shit, no, it goes away right away. Most priests are atheists. Believe it. They've learned too much. They're just in it to win it now, and that's their job. So they shepherd the flock as good as they can. When we had a billboard that said Christmas billboard in 14, thanks to American atheists who suck and have gone off the rails. We had a billboard campaign in Milwaukee, and the billboard says a little girl writing her Christmas note to Santa. She said, "All I want for Christmas is to skip church." And man, did it get blowback. Man, did it get blowback. People were so fucking upset by that. But that was the point. They want your kids to be dumb. They want you to have a bunch of kids. They want to keep them dumb so that they can keep on voting for the dummies who keep them dumb. Religious leaders. Yeah, if I was actually amoral on that level, like a Joel Osteen, I could do that, right? I could be a guy who was a preacher and just make millions off of people and be rich. But I don't. I have too much conscience for that. I don't know. And he died as a blood sack. Yeah, that's the thing. The whole Jesus story is another way of ending the pagan rituals of human sacrifice, right? The people who assimilated countries into Christianity knew that they needed all the people. They didn't need the people picking one out at random and chucking them in a volcano. So the part of the story is, you know what? You don't need to do that anymore. We've done it. God did it for you. He sacrificed his own son. What a guy. Because God can't have a zillion sons. And B, because God needed to do a human sacrifice. So that it's like putting the sins in a chicken and killing the chicken. Now your sins are gone. So it doesn't make any sense even on a basic level. How is that fucking anything? Why couldn't God just make us good, that we didn't need redemption? Sin is a human construct anyway. The only sin is hurting other people on purpose and wasting food. Hey, here's Johnny. How you been, man? Yeah, I get on at 9:30 now for one thing, just to let you guys know if I can. I get on at 9:30, and it's been like my eyes are starting to get tired because I'm reading and looking at this. It's been an hour and a half, and I had to deal with trolls. I had to get back on today. Knowing, I love it. Thank you, guys. Since the brain isn't fully developed until 25, then allow them to go to church. Yeah, Willa Vanilla. Church is about the money. Of course it is. Of course it is. It's a tax-free money gold mine for people. Yes, greasy and smarmy and Joel Osteen, and it just he's Pete Hegseth level smarmy. What a gross human being. All right, gang. American atheists, they stole from me for one thing. They're laying off people because they've become so ineffectual. They're supposed to be fighting church and state. They are fighting for the woke left, which again, I have no problem with the woke left, other than they're fucking us up politically. But if progressive wise, I'm on board with all. I've been talking about. I love every social justice warrior has a point. They all do. They need to concentrate on fighting separation of church and state. They need to fight for atheism, not being another arm of the extreme woke left. David Silverman got launched because he fucked up, and the dude's a douche. I've met him, and he's an unsavory prick. But I'd take him back in 5 seconds today. He was at least always on the news in front of Congress pushing atheism, and now you go to they're not even having him anymore because they can't afford him. They're not doing it right. But I got involved heavily in American Atheists because I thought they were on the right page with everything. And every time I went, it got more and more of just another woke, like another arm of the woke octopus. It wasn't about atheism. It was about forcing people to think like leftists. And we need Republicans if we're going to beat down this assault against the separation of church and state. The church and the state are both more powerful without each other. It has been shown. It is known. But we have an administration pushing Christian nationalism, upholding Christian privilege at every turn, and destroying that wall of separation. American atheists lost sight of that and are just another screeching progressive organization trying to make everybody think like a woke progressive activist. And that's not the mission. It shouldn't be the mission. The mission is about normalizing secular thought in this, the first great secular nation, which has no secular voice in government. Yes, thank you. We need the purple bag. We need the middle. This ultra woke has got us where we are. They got us Trump because they were so fucking unlikable. It's just a fact. We need people to work for the middle again. And until that happens, we're going to continue to have this pendulum swinging from one to the other. And when it swings against the Republicans, it's going to be ugly and they're not going to like it. And quite frankly, no, neither am I. It's not going to be good. It's going to just make us go hard the other way again when the grumpy Christians get their dander up and are able to, God, I don't know. But anyway, love you people. I got a blast. Support Freedom from Religion Foundation and American Atheists. Write a letter. Tell them, what the fuck are you doing, man? Get off your fucking lefty hill and just start fighting for secular people on the left. And there's plenty of right-wing atheists. They don't see atheism as a problem. They see communism as a problem. So that's, they don't prioritize it. But if we could get those people to talk over the middle again, it would all finally get better. Yes, of course you can be. Penn Jillette is a secular conservative. There's plenty of them. There's plenty of them out there. They just don't prioritize it as an activism thing like I do. There's plenty of secular conservatives. The Conservative Party shouldn't be about religion. It doesn't have anything to do with it. Get back in your lane, people. Love you guys. I'll see you next time, my friends. Thanks for joining. One more for you, Lucy. Love you so much.